And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good morning and welcome to Make HOAG Money. This is me, Senior Performance Coach here at Top Step, more than 40 years in futures industry experience, 31 years as an active trader. Had to migrate to screen trading in 2009, stepped out of the pit for the last time, and since 2011 I've been here at Top Step, hopefully helping traders. I can't believe how lucky I am to do what I do every day. This is the CFTC disclaimer. What we are doing here is for educational purposes only. We're not calling trades for anybody. You guys are calling trades for me. This states that futures has substantial risk, and it does. These are leveraged products. You could lose more than you have in your account. We should only use risk capital to trade with. And to me, risk capital is money I can afford to lose. The thing about Top Step is you don't have to put risk capital up. We'll put it up for you when you succeed in the trading combine. Again, this is for educational purposes only. We're not suggesting the purchase or sale of any specific product or security here. Past performance is never indicative of future results. The rules for Make HOAG Money, quite simple. We do expect kindness and respect above everything. There's so many different opinions and ways to look at markets. It's what makes them so good. We're going to have, I think we have a guest today, Casper. If you would, Casper, let me know who you are in the chat. I got a couple of hands up here. Jesse, okay. We'll get you in here, Jesse. We're gonna have Casper do the speaking today, but we're gonna make decisions. We're gonna discuss all these trades or anything that we think about doing. Context is, of course, going to be really helpful, Casper. Use the chat room to discuss the trades. Well, we can use both of them on YouTube and in the Zoom meeting. We're gonna focus on the MES for opportunities. We're not gonna trade just to trade. We're not taking losing trades, which we all know is a joke. Losing trades are part of trading, and feedback is, of course, vital. I'm going to get Jesse in here now. Good morning, everybody. And here you are, Jesse. I'm going to turn on the video, if I can.
Oh, I was muted. There we go.
How you doing?
Good, John. How about yourself?
All right. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Appreciate you having me on. It's pretty dope to be speaking with somebody who's been in the game this long.
Well, it's my pleasure. I hear good things about you.
I appreciate that.
Trying to turn on
the wild move yesterday, huh?
Yeah. Those are not my kind of days here.
Yeah, I stick to the option swings that I was in prior. I don't even touch my Top Step account or any kind of futures on days like that.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, because I had a friend who was trading a personal futures account, and they were so surprised when they got slipped. And I was like, man, that's just kind of how it goes. Like, people think that if they risk way less, it's okay. It's like you're not really you're risking wherever the orders are at,
right?
Because the books get real thin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you looked at the dome when that came out yesterday in the S&Ps, and it was 1, 2, 3, 4 lots per price. It's so thin. I've like, if you were in the prep, I've taken positions, I've traded positions in those types of situations. I've had wildly successful days and horrible days. And if I add them all up, I come out about even. So I decided a long time ago, I'm not even going to play.
Exactly. It's not worth the mental equity. It takes stress, a lot of energy to go back from winning on those kind of days to losing, and then you end up just at break even. It's all bad.
So I'm trying to, I guess I have the camera off on this webinar. Sorry about that. I was going to let everybody see us a little bit here, but I'm unable to turn it on for some reason. So Ben, Casper, tell us a little bit about you and who you are and your experience, and let everybody know who you are.
Sure. So I started trading, well, first exposure to markets really was in 2016. And that was to crypto. And that was just by investing in equity, like in Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, all that stuff before there was even leverage trading in crypto. So I got involved there and really had no idea what I was doing. I just kind of knew the fundamentals. I had friends that had shared with me what crypto was and this and that. Well, I knew what crypto was, but how to buy other altcoins and stuff like that. And I ended up doing pretty well off of it. I won't attribute that to any kind of skill. It was more just buying, and then we saw what happened in 2017. But after that, it kind of exposed me to, hey, this can be a good gig, because I've always been very money-minded and business-minded. So I was like, whoa, okay, this is something you can replicate. You can learn how to do this the correct way, and that interested me. And then by 2020, I was full-time trading, and really just never looked back from there. I was still trading crypto, and then I started trading like Forex and metals, like gold. And then once I started trading futures, and I started trading derivatives first of futures. But once I started trading futures or trading the stock market, I realized that this was more of the kind of like the professional environment that I wanted to be in, mainly because of the effectiveness with time, because time is a currency too. So it's nice to be able to trade futures and just stay focused on the first couple hours of the day of the equity open. But yeah, so then from there, I kind of discovered prop firms, got funded, and started doing the YouTube thing. And it's really all history from there. It's just, this is what I do. It's what I love. Like you said, I can't believe I'm this lucky to do this every day.
Yeah, right. It's fantastic. Do you still meddle in crypto?
Oh yeah. Oh, I meddle in it for sure. I do a lot of swing trading mainly. I have some like Bitcoin, like long-term holds, but mainly I do like swing trades, just focus on like daily 4-hour weekly charts. I try not to really trade the lower time frames on crypto too much anymore. It's just not really as consistent. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I definitely still dabble in it. I've been trading it this year actually quite a bit.
So for an old caveman like me, crypto frightens and confuses me. I really have a distrust for it. What would you suggest for somebody like me to start to look to get into investing in crypto?
So with investing, not trading, I mean, to be honest, you're right, because in my opinion, I'd say like 95% of different projects are total, like just bubbles and just complete bullshit. It's like somebody will come out with like, oh, here's the decentralized SoundCloud or iTunes. And it's, then it's like worth like a $20 million market cap or something. And then it just crashes. So I can understand that. But as far as like investing, I personally just stick to Bitcoin, just because it's like, it's if crypto is going to be anything, that's going to be for sure. You know what I'm saying?
So you don't want you don't mess around with any of the smaller, cheaper Bitcoins as far as investment's concerned.
Not for I mean, like if I look at a chart and I say, hey, this is going to run, right? Like I definitely have some altcoins, but it's really just at that point, it's just analysis. Like I don't do any kind of fundamental stuff. It's just like, hey, this weekly chart is looking really, really strong. But then I'm not going to just hold it forever or average in. I'm getting in a full position. I've got a hard stop. So it's more of trading, more of like position trading or long-term swings. Mm-hmm. But yeah, as far as like investing, like, hey, I'm buying this and I'm just, going to buy more if it dips. The only one I would really look at like that would be Bitcoin for sure.
Yeah, it's an expensive coin.
Yeah, that's for sure. And like you said, it's scary because we've seen it go from 70,000 to 15,000, now back up to 28,000. But I think that's one of those. It's just like either you believe in it or you don't, you know? Like, I see both sides. I feel like the way that everything's going with the economy, I feel like Bitcoin and gold are both good to have, you know? And I like silver too, but that's a whole nother.
Now you're talking my brother's language. He's
right.
He's big into silver.
My friend Playboy, he also is a really good trader. He trades a lot of options, but he has a lot of silver and he buys a lot. I think he was talking about getting into, I don't know if it was palladium. I think it was either palladium or platinum.
Palladium, yeah, palladium's big.
Palladium.
It's catalytic converters, but
that's what it was.
Yeah, if we're all going electronic, that may not be the best idea.
I can't remember. Well, it was something to do. I want to say it was something to do with electric cars. I could be wrong. Maybe it wasn't palladium.
There may be something else that it's useful for and upcoming. But I've missed some really good opportunities. I could have bought Microsoft in 1980 something, and again, my distrust of technology kept me out of that one. But it's neither here nor there. What are we doing here in the S&Ps here, Casper?
I was looking at, so I see S&P and NASDAQ, so I'm watching it. See how NASDAQ's kind of going for the low. If we push through and make a lower low on NASDAQ, that could be indicative of some kind of bullish price action. But we need to confirm that. Like, I'd wait for it to go under the low we made from yesterday's madness after hours. And then and I would want to see ES hold above that. It'd be something called SMT divergence. It's a strategy that I use. But like, for example, if we look at the Dow on the daily, it took out the lows from the April 26th, and we haven't taken out the kind of the last low pivot point on NASDAQ or ES. So I'm leaning more bullish. I know that sounds crazy after yesterday maybe, but I'm still leaning bullish. I don't know if it'll play out this week. I think there's just so many highs and so many people trying to short right now, like people trying to get those generational shorts, you know?
Okay.
What are you thinking about it?
Well, here's the daily in the S&Ps, right? Here's weekly kickoff levels or levels that I calculate on Fridays, where I expect longer time frame participants to adjust inventory. Monday, we tested, we went through it by one tick. Inventory adjusted. We either got out of longs or added to shorts, right? So we actually lost open interest that day. We gained open interest on this move to the downside. So getting out of longs, then getting into shorts. Weekly kickoff low for this week is 40.78. We tested to it overnight. So 40.78, our overnight low here that you were just kind of mentioning, you want to see it hold, is up against an important inflection level. And I love that level today. So here's the 30-minute chart. Opened, we went right to it, we rejected. Now here we are. We've opened now with a gap below a late spike. So I'm nervous getting long because the late spike is here. I'll show you this on the TPO chart. Here's the S&P TPO chart. So yesterday we all waited for the FOMC. We got the knee jerk to the upside, which most of the time the first knee jerk is the wrong direction. So we rotated here for about an hour, and then at 1:30 we broke out from the range and we started printing lower and lower and lower, and we closed down here. So what that creates, Casper, to me is called a late spike. A late spike is a market move that occurs late in the day that doesn't have the benefit of time to show acceptance of the lower pricing as being acceptance, right? As being accepted. Mm-hmm. So typically, as a general rule, opening below a late spike is the highest probability of acceptance of lower pricing.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
in the late spike is a secondary, but still higher probability of acceptance of lower pricing. Opening the next regular trading hour day above a late spike leaves this as excess, and it's a buy.
Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah, it's interesting because I've wanted to learn some of this, the TPO and like DOM and all these different, like, I guess, footprint. I don't know the name of the whole strategy, but I know some really good traders that use it. But yeah, that's super interesting. So basically, it's just like if the market hangs around down there, there's all participants are kind of accepting like that's the new valuation, or that's how you would read that. Okay.
Right, in very short time frame. So Ben is saying right here, it's a very low confidence open, no longer time frame yet. Let's see what we have as far as delta is concerned. So delta is minus 2,800. So delta, do you know what delta is, Casper?
I don't. All this stuff is like I'm like a baby with this stuff. I mean, I understand that the books is about as far as it gets, and then obviously the somewhat of the TPO.
Okay, so the delta is stating that since 8:30, since the open, 3,000 more contracts have traded on the bid than on the offer. So if we're looking at short time frame traders here, the short time frame traders are all aggressively selling. They're using market orders to hit the bids.
Okay, so that makes sense.
So what happens here now is if we continue to move lower with the direction of delta, then the sellers are winning, right? But what I'll be looking at if we get down to the overnight low and that 40.78 level, if we see buyers come in and delta continues to decrease in value, but price can't get through there,
that would be an indication to buy, correct?
Right. That would what I would be looking for is for a delta divergence to be created at that level. So the sellers would still be aggressive. Delta would continue to decrease in value. It would get more and more negative, but price wouldn't be able to continue a move to the downside and may actually go in the opposite direction.
That makes sense. So it's kind of like almost like a different way to read what I look for, like the same occurrences, I guess. Basically just a lot of the books getting really thin and price rushing to wherever there is liquidity.
Yes, and that's what it does too. I mean, if you can figure out where the most pain is going to be inflicted on the most traders, that's where price is going.
Yeah, 100%. That's the whole basis of my thought process too. I just look like where's everybody's stop losses? You know, where's the market kind of like reaching towards, and then in that direction, where are the obvious like pain areas for the most of the market? So that's actually pretty interesting how that works. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. I kind of always thought this stuff was a little more cryptic, but I mean, the way you explained it seems pretty straightforward.
Well,
I'm sure it gets there, but
it's not always useful. It's not something that you're going to be able to catch longer time frame participants every day, right? So see, now we're seeing our aggressive sellers, more negative delta, continuing to move to the downside. So again, whoever these participants are, they are buying they've bought into the fact that that price is being accepted at lower prices. And it's probably shorter time frame traders, because the longer time frame, they don't like to use market orders to get in and out. They will if they get pushed. But we're just getting shorter and shorter and short time frame here.
Yeah, I think we'll probably ES looks like it wants to take that low from yesterday, like either that low from yesterday or this low we're about to take before the news came out at 8:30. But ES definitely.
You talking about the overnight low?
Yeah, it looks like. I mean, if we get a nice 15-minute closure under this recent low we made at 8:15 or 7:15 your time, I guess, that would be kind of indicative that we're going to go down to the low. But just depends how we react here. A lot of times we make these big gaps like this, we'll usually take out the low. Like it's like that first low that gets made, it almost always gets ran. That's why I was saying if it held, that would be bullish, but we'll see. Doesn't look too promising as of yet. So whenever you trade like based off of like let's say that just hypothetically speaking, that there was like the buy signal based off of the decreasing delta, and the delta's going way up, but the decreasing delta and at that level, like how would you execute a trade based on, like, would you just use like price levels, like other levels for a stop loss or take profit, or do you kind of just float it like and keep your eye on the delta and watch like as the books change? Or
say that again. I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. So basically, like, let's say, because you were saying if the market came down to that that low, the white level, and then the delta like started diminishing extremely, that would be like a kind of a buy signal, correct?
Yeah. If we get down there and delta continues to increase in negativity or decrease in value, so negative numbers are always hard to explain. If we get down there and price stops and delta continues to increase in negativity, that would be an indication that longer time frame traders are paying attention to that level. So I call it, when there's a delta divergence, I call it, there's a snake in the woodpile. So if this is shorter time frame traders selling and they locate longer time frame buyers, price action is going to stop or at least slow in this direction. And the short time frame traders are going to get shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. If they start to get the idea that they're screwed, then they run the other direction. So one of the big things that I look for as far as opportunities or even bigger opportunities are concerned is our time frame, day traders, are they too short or too long? And are they up against longer time frame participants that have the big pockets, the big money, and that aren't worried about day time frame activity, right? They're looking more longer time frame. So we're pitting time frame against time frame is in essence what I'm doing. So when I sense that our time frame, the day traders, even some longer time frame speculators are stuck one way and it looks like they've found the longer time frame buyers, that's where I'm going to go against my time frame. And you'll see, if you get a delta divergence that goes on all day, by the end of the day, the short time frame traders are so stuck one way, they have to bail out and get flat by the end of the day.
Makes sense.
So, we're getting pretty close to this level here. Okay.
Nasdaq's taking out that low.
Okay. Here, let's take a quick look at it.
Dow's down. At least my gold calls are. I'm in gold. I've been in GLD calls for a little while now. Those are doing nice. I think gold's gonna go to $2,100. Kind of off topic, but just scanning through my charts. I actually I was trading on the practice account. I was trading gold futures because I had to learn the tick values, and I was like, damn, these are actually really good for gold traders, because I know a lot of people, from my camp at least, that like there's a lot of people that don't realize you can trade gold on Top Step. Somebody asked Samuel, GLD is a fund for gold. It's like you could buy options on it. It's only that's the reason that I was referring to GLD.
Yeah, the gold futures is GC.
Yes, yeah.
And you'd be in the June contract.
That threw me off a little bit too, because this was like a week or so ago, and I think I looked at what I thought was the current contract, and I think it was. Let me look. Or maybe it was oil, and oil's another one. That one's a demon. Oil's a demon.
Oh.
I was like, okay, I think I'll hold off on oil, but I'll play with gold. Yeah, I was trying to look at the May ones on gold futures, and I was like, whoa, these look crazy. But so it's the June is the high. I didn't look at the highest OI. But
yeah.
I was just looking at the chart.
And gold rolls every month.
Okay.
So, at least 1 week a month, it's in rollover, and it becomes very blurry. So here's our low for the session right now, 76, within 2 ticks of our overnight low. So
usually, if this is where I would want to see a reversal, is like under this low. That would be where I would want to.
Yeah, this is one of our good friend Ben's trades. Is if it takes out the overnight low and can't continue, you look for a long.
Yeah. Usually, it was kind of like what you said about the like the knee jerk reaction with the news stuff.
Yeah,
I almost look for that like every day, because a lot of times like that first 9:30 to 10 a.m. move is kind of just like a little false.
So you're on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Okay,
So 8:30 to 10 for you, or I mean to 9. So you're in Chicago, correct?
Yes.
Are you at the office like right in front of the CME place?
No.
That's pretty crazy. It's right there. I was looking at the view from Michael's office, and I was like, that's awesome.
Well, that's we have an office in the Board of Trade building. That's a meeting place. So there's a whole bunch of Top Step people meeting there for a couple of days to try and make things all better for you guys.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's just you don't really see that too much, like the formal like legitimacy of Top Step. That was one of the things that drew me to you guys.
Well, we're glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here, man.
So
and I think that somebody put in the chat, they said MMXM on 1 hour ES, which is a pattern we trade, which is kind of what I see too. It's a really good eye. So see how we kind of have like 3 consolidations starting on Tuesday, then we have the one yesterday on the 1 hour. Sorry, I should have clarified. So see how there's kind of like a consolidation up there at the top, like I guess those 2 profiles, and then the next 2, and then if what we would look for is for us to kind of come take out the low from last Wednesday. It looks like last week's low.
Yep.
Yeah, and then we would want to see some kind of bullish price action, taking out some short-term highs with a big push, like a big energetic push, and that would be the signal that we would actually go up to the top of the first consolidation. But again, that's kind of forecasting it. There's no confirmation on that idea yet. But I see what he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it would be with the opening below the late spike and no gap close. This would be something I would be really looking to short into.
Oh yeah, no, not today. It would not happen today for sure.
Yeah,
it would be like it'd probably be something that happened like next week, if it even happened.
But we did not leave the opening range at the high of the session. We looked above. This is just a different profile. So here's that late spike from yesterday. No gap close. You look for shorts.
It's interesting. So basically it's just showing acceptance. Because I remember that was a term. I have a friend that trades these strategies, and he was always talking about showing acceptance, or if it wasn't, price was not being accepted here. So that makes more sense. He never really explained it though, but that makes a little more sense.
And it's, with market profile, it's acceptance through time, right? Like volume profile, you would be accepted through volume.
Right. I kind of like the idea of time better. I mean, I use a lot of time in my price too, or my trading too, kind of mixing time and price. But I've never. I mean, volume profile. What's interesting, like the way that I trade, like this, smart money concepts. I don't know how familiar you are with it, but a lot of times there'll be like a big fair value gaps is what we call them. They're basically just massive candles that don't have wicks filling in both sides. But they'll oftentimes line up with a lot of volume profile levels. Like, because I have a friend that he trades volume profile, and they almost always line up on point. Like, I'll draw something, and he'll send me a picture in the Discord and be like I'm looking at the same level.
We got Ben. He's long at 76.50 because it came back inside the overnight. He's pretty short time frame, but I like the trade.
Yeah, I mean, this is where I would want a long. It's not there yet for my strategy, but I definitely see the long.
You like like last week's low for that.
For that 1 hour model to play out, that would be awesome. But really anywhere under this low, like anywhere under that overnight low from last night. I've been more of a NASDAQ guy lately, man. I don't know what's gotten into me.
You like the action, huh?
I was about to say I've turned to a degenerate or something. No, I'm just joking.
No.
But I like the I like the way it's been moving recently. Like sometimes I'll switch back between. I never really trade the Dow. That's the one that I don't trade. Is the Dow, but I switch back between Nasdaq and ES.
Yeah, I'm long in my personal account because we could not hold the overnight low, and it seems like we're struggling to stay below that weekly kickoff low. And it's, you know, limited risk.
Yeah, I like where we're at.
What about the Russell? I never really looked at the Russell that much. The 100 EMA on the daily. Where is it? I don't think I have it on this one. Go back to the 50 and go back to the 30. So Delta is kind of weenieing out here now. Negative 2,600. You got some of those shorts covering here. Do we want to? Here, you know what? I'm just going to do this. There. We're going to put our short at the just below the low. Got to do something, right, Casper?
Yeah. What's what you looking at on? Oh, so you're on ES. Yeah, I'm on NAS. I just took a small long on NAS, just a little.
Oh, okay.
Little long on NQ.
Yeah, get somebody asking to share your entry and exit strategies.
Yeah, sure. So basically, I mean, I really just look for exactly what we just got, and then I'll go to the 1 minute and I'll look for kind of like a break of structure with like an energetic push. So like if you go to, I don't know if ES has it as much, but
I got a 1 minute here somewhere. Hang on. There it is.
Is this? Oh, there we go. Hold on. It's just like this. I would want us to push over that low we just, or the high we just made, like kind of how we're doing, and close a big energetic push above it. And that would be my my entry, is wait for like this candle to close, and then see how there's like a gap between the two wicks, like this candle and then the candle before it. So the candle, the middle candle, kind of right, the three most recent candles.
Okay, here.
I would want that gap between the wicks to hold. Like say there's a gap between the wick of the left candle and the right candle. So like if the top wick of the first candle, like okay, so or the bottom wick.
You can share your screen if you want to show us.
Oh, here, hold on 1 second. I don't know why I'm trying to. I'm like, it said I can't right now because the other participant is sharing.
Now you can.
Go to share screen. Is it on there?
Yep.
So basically, this would kind of be the confirmation, right? So we get a big push up, a shift here on NASDAQ. It's a little cleaner. So right here, so there's a push up, and then this gap right here. That gap right there is where I look to buy.
Okay.
So if like for my like finite strategy, if like for example, you see here I executed right here. If it's very close, I usually just mark it on the closure of this candle right here. Depending on the risk profile, like if it's if this candle is massive and then this gap is way farther down, I'll wait. But usually that's what I'll do, is just basically if it's within like a couple ticks, I'll just market it, or I'll wait for it to come back down in this gap and buy it there. because I bought on this candle, you can see. But yeah, it's pretty simple. Just wait for, have your overall idea for the day, which like I've been wanting to long. And then even though this is a big push down into this low, even though I'm looking at like, oh man, do I want a long? I still just relentlessly execute that model. But it's really just wherever the first big push is in the morning. Oftentimes, like I took this trade on the other Top Step stream on Tuesday. It was like the one that I did with you, it was just on my Twitch. Show you another example of it. Is this Tuesday over here? Yeah, here we go. So here's another example of this. So we came up right at 9:30. We took out some highs. So that initial push is kind of like I look at that as the manipulation push or like the false push. So then price comes down, breaks down a low.
It rejected right away.
Yeah, and then you have a gap right here. And I waited for the jolts this candle to close, and I ended up getting in right here. But I closed it at Monday's low, which was painful to watch all of this, but it's all right. I closed it it was I think somewhere right here.
Still a good trade.
Yeah, it was a nice trade for sure. I've gotten over oh man, if I would have held, because I used to do that. That'd be like, oh dude, if I would have held
it's so detrimental to your mental capital and your psychology to do that.
Dude, it's so bad. Because it's just it just breeds more issues. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times when people do that, it's not only just that initial kind of damage it does to your psychology, but then it kind of instills that behavior. I'm a big believer of like how you do anything is how you do everything. And that's not just with trading, but people that are of habit and have good discipline are usually just better traders than somebody who is just looking to make money. And it's the same thing, like, if you have good habit and discipline with not only, your executions and that, but how you look at trading and how your kind of your perspective on it, I think that you'll be in a much better boat than the rest. Because a lot of people think it's just doing analysis, but that's the farthest from the truth. That's the easy part.
Right. Yeah, there were a lot of people on the trading floor that were awesome, technical analysts. They would sell their numbers, and guys who could actually trade would buy them. But for some reason, when they tried to trade, they just couldn't do it. They were so good at reading the markets and finding good levels, but they just couldn't execute. And when you talk about, you have a good trade, you take the profit on it, and then the market, continues to go in that direction. You got to be happy with what you got.
Yeah, exactly, man. And even if you take a loss, like, you have to be like, I learned to look at it like, if I execute my strategy, and it is what, because I have a pretty mechanical strategy. If the market gave, I took, I would rather execute and take a loss than to miss an execution. Even if the trade hits the loss and you missed it, or because you're scared to execute, like, the long-term damage of being afraid to execute is worse than taking a small loss. And that's what we have risk management and stop loss for,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're so, we're always so hard on ourselves if we don't get out at the bottom or the top tick. It's like, I had a winning trade, but I'm sad because it was worth more.
Those calculators, man, they'll get you. If you start doing the tick value, I had 2 contracts, it went this, oh man. But that's just the name of the game. And it's just more of realizing that it's a game you win over time and it's like success in trading is a process, not an event.
Right.
It's not like you just hit that one trade. I'm good. Sometimes you hit a really great trade.
And there is no destination.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, becoming as kind of robotic as possible.
Something you said reminded me of something Marcus Cicero said. It was, more is lost by indecision than wrong decision.
100%.
Right?
I 100% agree with that. Because I know a lot of people that, like you were saying with the floor traders, they're great analysts, but not the greatest traders. And it's like, damn, man, like, you're really good at this. You just won't let yourself be good at it.
And why is that? I've been
fear of being wrong. It's like the fear of like, especially with the type of trading, like the school of thought that I trade, people, it's kind of like sold off in like an esoteric nature. The origins of like smart money concepts. It's like, I know what you don't know, and then this is how the market works, and this is the underpinnings of the market. And I think so many people kind of like fall into that and think that they like must know every move and they have to know. And when it doesn't work like that, because obviously trading just doesn't work like that, they start like to get scared, or they always look for a reason maybe not to get in the trade, or a reason why they could be wrong. And they find like that security, and they'll look at the chart. Okay, it's giving me a long signal. Oh, but over here, there's this reason to not long. And then the other, the market, there's always a way to kind of like, weasel your way out of executing.
Oh, of course. There's as many reasons to not take a trade as there is to take a trade.
Yeah.
But what I like about the profiles is sometimes the nuances that you got to have I think Dalton calls it a ruling reason. There's a ruling reason to take the trade. If the nuances that you're seeing in the market profile are strong to one side, you have to trade to that side.
Right. And it's like a mechanical way. It's like, it's taking the guesswork out of it. It's taking the overall, indecision out of it. You're just like, here's the numbers. You know what to do. Like you've set out on what you're going to do. And if you don't do that, that's way more of a mistake than taking a small loss.
Like taking a short below a late spike, that's a ruling reason, especially when there's no gap close. There's two ruling reasons there. That we got the late spike, we opened below, we were unable to close the gap, we look for shorts. Now we've got another ruling reason. We looked below the overnight low, we're holding above a weekly kickoff low. That's why that's now the new ruling reason. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. At least we have the opportunity.
No, 100% agree with that.
So, we're sitting here long, and we don't have great trade location on this long. We're long at 40.80, right? And it's come back there. It's retested that level. If we moved our stop up, we'd be out by now. There's another thing that bugs me about moving stops too quickly.
Dude, especially in trading indices, man. It's almost like they know you're like, there was 1 week, man, where I missed out on a really good deal of money on 3 trades. So I took 3 trades, and all 3 of them hit break even, and it would have been a very nice week. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But it was brutalizing, man. It was when I was first starting to trade futures. Actually, this one I was trading CFDs, but back I had basically just fumbled like a very, probably would have been my best week in trading history. And then I realized, I was like, dude, like looking back, why did you set your stop loss to entry? And it was just because I was afraid of it turning around on me. And I was like, you know what I'm already dealing with? Like, you see these stops, these are small stops for NASDAQ, like 15 points. You know what I mean? Like, that's tiny for NASDAQ. NASDAQ will do that in 1 candle. But, it's...
1 minute candle.
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, it'll do that in 5 seconds. But, but that was a big realization, is that I just had to...
you got to let the trade play to fruition.
Exactly, man.
And I get it. The starts going your way, you want to take the risk off as soon as possible, right? But how many times have you had, you just said 3 trades in a row. You had great trades. You moved your stop to break even. It came and got you, and then you missed the move. It's like getting slapped in the head twice.
Yeah, literally. Exactly. It's not only getting stopped to break even, but then watching the trade. I mean, it was like these were like catastrophic mistakes too. I mean, it was obviously not catastrophic because I didn't lose any money, but, to the psychology of, because it went from like I just started really doing good with futures, and then that happened 3 times in a row, and it was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you're out here making rookie mistakes. And the big thing I always tell people too is like, the effects on your psychology are worse than, as long as you have good risk management and you know, you have a rule for how many trades you'll let yourself lose in a day and in a week. And the money is not really the problem as much as the psychology that comes with like losing like that, or having like those stupid mistakes, you know, where you just did something completely out of character and it really cost you, because then you come in to the market with that like kind of
venom.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just all bad. It's just it's a butterfly effect, and it affects everything. It's funny, like, you know, when I first started trading, my girlfriend could always tell how I was trading. She like, "Did you have a good day today?" I was like, "Ah, it's all right." And she was like, "Oh, okay." You could tell she's like, "I can tell he's not having a good day." And then I was, that's a problem, you know. You should, but now I never really care even if it's a really good day. You know, I don't get too excited over it.
You don't want to get too high. You don't want to get too low.
Yeah.
Man, every time I've been like really high, like I think I'm God's gift to trading, it's been a bloodbath very shortly after that.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. So I actually have a rule too. Like if I win a trade, then I stop for the day. Like if it's a good win. I mean, if it's like a very minor win, like let's say I take one contract off with some small profits and get stopped at break even, I'll probably still be active. But like, for example, if this trade hits, you know, and I'll watch it above this level as well. But if this trade hits, I'll be done. Definitely for this whole week. Because I'm only taking one trade this week. I took a trade on Tuesday. It hit nicely, and I didn't trade any other day. Except, well, I trade options, but not futures. I haven't taken any futures trades. But that's another big one, is like, when you're up, just give us some time. There's a cool down period, because it's just wild how the markets work, man. It's like you can get in a trade and it seems like the market has to do so much work to pay you. And then you get whatever it doesn't pay you, it's just like, goodbye. There weren't your, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's funny how fast and how willing the market is to take.
Well, I don't mind quick losses. I like to find out I'm wrong fast.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with that. I do agree with that for sure. I'd rather have that than like hours of just waiting, and then it just stops you out right before the.
And when you have a big winner, time stops. Yep. It feels like you're in that trade for 2 weeks and it's an hour.
Yeah, man.
So, well, I took just short of 10 points on my personal account on that long at 78.
Nice.
Because I'm not all that impressed with the way the market is acting here. I want to see it go my way a little bit faster.
I agree. It's not the most energy right now.
And we've taken out all of the negative delta now. We're almost back to even as far as delta is concerned. So, like, short time frame positions are flat.
So basically, the market's just indecisive where we're at. It's kind of still.
Yeah, it's just hanging around. But we're going to stay in this trade because it's still valid for make HOAG money.
Oops, no, wrong one. I didn't do that.
For make HOAG money, it's still a valid trade.
What's this?
We got minimal risk. We'll see what happens. And if I have to chase back in my personal account, well, we'll figure that out then. Yeah, when there's no momentum, he gets nervous and closes the trade. Jack him, same way.
Yeah, that's another thing too. That's. I mean, it can help too, for sure. Like, it's definitely, there are a lot of times where I'm like, I knew I should have took that. You know what I mean? Wait, where'd my screen go? Oh, there you go.
I'm taking it back here. So
you got it.
Yeah.
I thought I did it.
Nope.
I was like, because I clicked something like right whenever that happened. I was like, how did Discord do that?
I forget when you're sharing your screen on Zoom, the Zoom people can't see my screen, but the people on YouTube can, because I don't.
Oh yeah.
I minimize or reduce the size of the screen share so they can still see the dome. But yeah, we're still long here at 40.80. It's been back here 18 times.
And those are usually the ones that end up well, I don't want to jinx this. I was gonna say those are usually the ones that end up paying though. The ones that just dance right in front of your face until you close it, and then it's like, okay, bye.
Don't say that.
Oh man, I like the. This is TS Trader, right? Yeah,
Yes.
TS Trader. I like the interface of this. Like I've seen a couple people post. Like I like that performance center. I like just kind of the. I'm just so used to TradingView, man. I'm like I don't know, man. Some of the like MetaTrader on the PC. I don't know if you ever used it, but it's terrible. So I guess that's put a bad stigma in my head of like other trading interfaces, like on PC. Mm-hmm. But I like this look. I like the look of this one.
Yeah, this is. I mean, it's pretty simple. Yeah, it's pretty user friendly. They do have their issues sometimes with data getting fucked up, but I use CTS T4.
What's that? A CTS T4?
Well, I have my live account on a different computer, but I have the sim here, and these are the charts. These are the profiles for T4.
That was this one you were showing.
Yeah,
earlier.
And it's the platform I learned to trade on screen with. So it's kind of like my favorite. Well, NASDAQ opening range is the high of the session. No gap close. We're looking for shorts, unless that takes it out. But I mean, I've tried. I've looked at NinjaTrader. I've looked at pretty much all the platforms, and it's a learning curve. Anytime you change something like that, and it makes me uncomfortable to try and do that.
For sure, that's my thing exactly. Like whenever if you got something, if it's not broken, don't fix it in trading, man. Mm-hmm. Like strategies, platforms, what you're trading, anything like that's a big thing. I tell people that are trying to learn. Like I know a lot of people that are having that they have like issues, like they'll start with a new strategy and they want to learn, even though they're already kind of profitable or doing well. I'm like, bro, just do what you're doing and fix that, like refine that. Because I'm sure it's going to be easier for you to work on your strategy that you already know than try to open a whole new can of worms, because you're going to go through a period of complete confusion and just, that's natural. But trading is one of these things where it's already difficult enough. Don't make it harder on yourself, People love to make things complicated.
How about it? Well, it's you brought a lot of people, Casper. You must be really popular.
I love the community, man. They're all awesome. I posted this out in my group and on Twitter and stuff like that. So I'm sure that how many people were in here? I haven't even looked, to be quite honest. Oh, 82, nice.
Yeah,
good little turnout for sure.
65 watching on YouTube as well.
Cool. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm not much of an influencer myself.
Yeah, I never was until I used to just stream on YouTube daily just because I was streaming for my group, and I figured, like, why not put it on YouTube as well? And then it just kind of started blowing up, and I was like, hey, I might as well do this thing. It's pretty fun.
Cool. Yeah, it's nice because you're not alone anymore.
Yeah.
Trading is a lonely business.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's very true. So tell me some stuff about floor trading, man. Like I still, like, at some point in my life want to go experience that, whether it's at the CME or I don't know how that works at the CME, but or at the New York Stock Exchange. I want to experience that just because, for obvious reasons, that'd be pretty wild. I've read like different books that people have like told stories about stuff there, but what do you think your craziest story is, or some of your crazy stories are from stuff you've seen trading on the floor?
I've tried to block them out.
PTSD.
Yeah, you would think, right?
Warzone.
Well, I was only a clerk when the crash of '87 came.
Oh man!
But I was working for brokers, and the risk that they were under was, unbelievable. 10 handle difference between bid and offer.
Oh my God.
We didn't leave the pit like during trading hours for 4 straight days. Bell to bell, you had to just hold it if you had to pee. And it started on Friday, and I think we were on the trading floor until 11 o'clock Friday night, just trying to go through all the dupes and match up all the trades we'd made with the other people we made them with. And then Sunday night at 1 o'clock in the morning, there was an out trade call. So Monday morning at 1 o'clock, everybody had to be on the floor to resolve out trades. And then the market opened on Monday, and that's when it really just started. That's when it really fell apart. So I think even though I wasn't at risk, that was probably one of the scariest periods of time, because I had been an ARB clerk and a deck holder for years before that, and I'd never seen anything like this. And I got to hand it to my bosses. See, we're getting killed here. We should be looking for shorts.
Back a little bit.
Yep. Should be looking for shorts. But just trying to protect my bosses was a challenge. Let me see here. These are some pictures that are on loan from my brother. This is the bond.
Oh my gosh.
That's the bond pet in about the late 80s. And that's just one scene. There's a whole nother scene over here that's the same pit. So you can imagine, what are there, 800, 1,000 people in there?
That'd be insane. I bet the energy in there was just totally insane.
It was nuts. Some of these, what the guy did, it was an artist. He came in and he took a bunch of pictures, and then he recreated the pictures using pencil and watercolor. You can see some of the faces, like guys screaming, and
yeah,
some of them are kind of funny.
I bet that was just so crazy. Like, I couldn't imagine, like, they're literally inputting these trades just with a slip. That is crazy to me.
Some of these faces are funny. Like, this guy doesn't look like he's having much fun. But it's just one second in time. It's 6 bid, 7 offer on both pictures. 6 bid. Some folks are offering 8s, but most people are 7 offer. 6 bid, 7 offer. Holy smokes. What just happened?
I got stopped on those NASDAQ bonds.
Yeah, we did too, but boy, that was quite the bounce.
Yeah, I'm not going to short here personally. Mm-hmm. I see it, but I'm just going to wait to see if I get another long setup, I'll take one, and if not, I'm not going to force anything else.
Yeah, that was quite the washout, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
I'm glad I took my profit on that one, but I was looking for. We're looking for shorts. Any longs should be short-lived. And one more picture to show you. So this was a picture that I found in my parents' basement. This was in 1975. This was Continental Bank, and there was a long-standing relationship between the Continental Bank and the Board of Trade. It's another pencil and watercolor picture. I love this picture, but there's also this letter that came with it. It was still in the postal packaging when my dad. So 1975. It's you can't read it, but they sent this picture as a thank you to the Board of Trade to all the members, and it sat in the basement for 40, 50 years, and I just finished.
That's awesome.
Framing it, and it's part of the artwork in my office. I got a lot of artifacts and stuff. One of these days, once I'm really finished with this office, I will do a kind of a tour.
That's awesome, man. That's so much history, and the way the industry's changed just since you got in the game is insane. Here we are on this call, just the style of the way everything works now. It's we're all trading, live streaming everything. Back then, there's people literally screaming because they have to put in a physical slip. That's just so wild to me.
Yeah, it was certainly an era. Started in 1848 when the Board of Trade started, and now there's no more futures pits. I think there's 1 or 2 options pits still.
Oh, so there's no futures pits now?
No, everything's.
I didn't even know that.
Everything's online now.
Wow, I did not know that. Mm-hmm. So are there people still there that are there's not really like floor trading, or is it just different without the pit, or like how would that work exactly?
They took the Euro options pit and put it into a smaller like room. And as far as I know, I think that's pretty much it. I think there may be like the 10-year options. There may be some pit trading still, but the options strategies are so complicated that they still do most of it in the pit. I had a friend from high school who's still in the Euro option pit.
That's wild.
But I've got, pictures of the opening of the new Chicago Mercantile Exchange trading floor in 1983, and pictures of my dad on the trading floor, me, my brother on the trading floor. I got all kinds of kind of cool history. You know what, though? It doesn't help my trading.
You'd think it would just be like a natural, like the family business. None of this one works, that's for sure.
Tommy, I was never in the 30-year pit. My brother was, but I can't find him in these pictures. He's there somewhere, but I can't seem to find him. I was in the S&P pit at the Merc. Let me see if I can find any of those pictures. I know I got them here somewhere.
That's interesting. Looking at the micro ES, it hasn't even taken the low from last week, but the ESM has.
Here's one. There I am. This guy here, his name is Brian Luckman. He's the grandson of Sid Luckman, the Chicago Bears quarterback from way back.
The guy in the back didn't look like he's having fun.
Back here.
He looked like, the one behind him, he looked like he's about to have, he doesn't know if he's going to have fun or not.
This guy?
Yeah.
That's me.
That's you? No way.
Yeah. Yep.
What was going on in that moment? You're waiting. That was like when the market was dancing right around your order.
It looks like I had an order like that was just off the market. And as soon
I see HOAG. I see it now. Yeah, as I said as I said, you're probably waiting for something to play out.
Yeah.
That's funny. Gold looks like it's going to 2100, man. I don't know what that is on GC, but like 2089.
Here's my brother when he was in the lumber pit. There he is, right there. There's Randolph, everyone.
Man, if I had a time machine, it'd be cool. I'd go. That'd be one stop just to see that energy. It'd be so crazy, man.
It is. It was definitely an era. I'm really happy to have been part of it, but I don't think I could go back and do it again. I'm too old.
So that delta now, looking at the left, is that forward to the negative? So
Yes.
that's like more buyers are stepping in, correct? Or no?
No, this is still aggressive sellers.
Okay, aggressive sellers. So
Yes.
like, what would be the buyers when it goes up? And
Yeah. So
Delta, okay.
when we had our little, where's that 1 minute? So we had our little pop here. You can see here, we had negative about 4,000 delta, maybe 5,000 delta here. When we had that little pop, it all went away.
Gotcha.
So this delta, if you're thinking about it, It's the short time frame traders that are using market orders that are pushing price around. And I don't think necessarily we're seeing a lot of other longer time frame participants here, because Delta is going pretty much right with price. So I think the longer time frame is just sitting, waiting to make some sort of decision here. So here's here. So here's how the nuances work this morning. This is the S&Ps, right? The range, the late spike, the gap below the late spike. We look for sells. And a lot of, that's the market is showing signs of acceptance below previous value. So if we're going to be looking for buys now, we're picking bottoms.
Right. You're trying to, yeah.
Right. So if there's an adjustment in inventory in longer time frame, either side of 40.78 weekly kickoff low, we have to go with it. So we're currently, we're looking for shorts because we open with a gap. The late spike in the NASDAQ, the opening range is the dead ass high. So here's the T4. This gold line here is the opening range. It's the first minute of trade. And it's the dead high. So nuance, late spike, open below the late spike, can't close the gap, opening range the high of the day. Those are 3 ruling reasons to look for shorts.
It just makes sense too. Like it just, okay, price is just hanging out down here. It's showing no desire to come up and come back into that area, especially after like a news day like that, like interest rates, stuff like that. It's just showing basically, okay, the market's is pushing down from that.
And when you look at the NASDAQ, it's a completely different market. Hang on. So here's the daily in the S&Ps, right? Here's weekly kickoff low. We hit weekly kickoff high. We're now, bordering acceptance below weekly kickoff low. Look at where the weekly kickoff low is. Okay, it's back here in March, end of March. Now, the NASDAQ daily. Here's the end of March.
Oh.
The NASDAQ has held up much better.
Yeah, it definitely has been a lot stronger recently.
And some of that probably has to do with some of the tech earnings.
Yes,
but 100%. A lot of those companies have trimmed their rosters, so that's how they're staying profitable. So, well, we missed our opportunity, I think, to catch the early short here. So I made a little bit on that long, but I was right in saying, that we're not going to fall in love with longs here.
Yeah, that definitely clapped down. Yeah. When you said that too, it started to reverse. Like you're like something about the delta had been shifting, and I was watching. I was like, okay, I want to see how this reacts, and it reacted pretty nicely.
Mm-hmm. So now we wait for the next opportunity. All right. Well, I gotta get moving, guys. Casper, it's been a blast having you here. Come visit us often.
Yeah, for sure. We can make this probably like a weekly or bi-weekly thing, man. I enjoyed it a lot, and I enjoyed getting some insight and hearing some stories from a veteran. So appreciate you having me on.
My pleasure, and thank you everybody for coming and hanging out with us for a little while, and we'll catch the next one.
Awesome. Sounds good, man. Thank you guys, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Trade well, everyone.